Rev it up and welcome to Cars Yeah, show number 1794. Be prepared to be inspired as we turn the key.
This is Cars Yeah, where you'll enjoy interviews with inspiring automotive enthusiasts. Mark Green is here to provide you with a fuel injection of automotive inspiration. So get in, sit down, buckle up, and get ready for a wild ride here on Cars Yeah.
Hello, inspiring automotive enthusiasts, and welcome to Cars Yeah. Today I'm back in Southern California, hometown. I'm in Oceanside, California, with a surfer, which is pretty cool. Maybe we should hit some waves after this talk. A very special guest by the name of Zack Williams. Hey, Zack, welcome to Cars Yeah. Do you have any gear, and are you ready to release the clutch?
Hey, Mark. Yeah, I'm ready to rumble.
All right, we'll have some fun. Now, before I introduce you and we talk about your business, what's one little thing, Zack, that most people don't know about you other than you're a surfer?
Yeah. So this is kind of random, but I've lately really been getting into old Western books. I don't know if you're like Louis L'Amour stuff. I stumbled upon one in a take a book, leave a book, and been reading them on camping trips. Really?
Well, that's pretty cool. Getting back to some old cowboy roots that may be back in your genetic code somewhere, maybe. Do you have family that are from the West? Are you originally from somewhere where there's that kind of a genre?
My dad and his side are from Missouri, and they traveled out here in the 50s to LA, and then my mom's born and raised in LA. So I don't know. I think it's maybe the not where you're from kind of thing. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, I like that. My dad's originally from Texas. My grandfather was a full-blown cowboy, rode horses up until pretty much the day he passed, had a farm, a ranch. And as a kid growing up in Southern California with long hair and surfing every day, going to Texas was like going to another planet. It was a really bizarre world visit. It was this weird place that was, you looked, 360 degrees. All you saw was flat land. These things called cows. I remember my cousin Thad tricking me, convincing me that going in and petting a bull in the nose was a good idea. Not for this city slicker. That was not a good idea. I was a little bit of a greenhorn, I guess, as they call them. But, well, that's cool. It's nice to expand your horizons in different ways, and books are a great way to do it. Well, let me give you a proper introduction. We're going to dive into your world of cars, because that's what Cars Yeah is all about.
Yeah.
Zack Williams is the head of business operations at Clasiq. Now that's spelled Clasiq. It's an all-new, truly independent online classic car auction experience that is built by the community for the automotive community. He and his team do things a little bit different in the auction world space and have been building their online brand for a number of years by creating an inspiring video series that has resulted in a large social media following of 850,000 plus viewers. Zack has restored and sold over 40 classic cars going back to when he was just 15 years old. He was head of operations for Shift, an online auto sales site, first in San Francisco, then LA, and finally in San Diego. I think he has a trend here of staying on the West Coast. We'll be back in just a minute to learn more about Clasiq with Zack, but first a word from our valued sponsors, so give them a listen, and we'll be right back. Did you know the most damaging thing to your vehicle's interior is the sun? Harsh UV rays damage your interior over time, cracking the dash, fading colors, and the heat makes getting into your favorite ride downright unbearable. My friends at Covercraft have the perfect solution for you and me. Their quality-made sunscreens are easy to use, take seconds to install and to remove, and they protect your vehicles while parked in the sun if using a cover isn't a good option. I have one for every one of my cars. They come in a variety of colors and options, and their accordion design makes unfolding and folding them up for storage as cool as the summer breeze. Your sunscreen comes custom tailored for your special vehicles and manufactured with the quality and attention to detail that's been the standard for Covercraft since 1965. Here at Cars Yeah, I've got a savings just for you. Use the code YEAH21, that's YEAH21 at covercraft.com, and they'll give you 10% off your Covercraft order. That's right, 10% off. Simply use the code YEAH21 at checkout. Covercraft, protecting the things that move you. When it was time to renew my collector car policy, my carrier raised my rates by a lot. But why? My usage was the same, my car's value was the same, and I had never made a claim. I didn't even have a ticket. The The only change was their rate, and they had no reason why. What's with that? I researched my options, I spoke to others, and with American Collectors Insurance is where I now have my policy. What a difference. A live person actually answers the phone. She spent time learning about me and my Porsche Turbo, the one I call my Orange Crush, and provided a reasonable quote. American Collectors Insurance now protects my special ride. I'm saving hundreds of dollars, and I can sleep at night knowing my baby is properly insured. Why wait until your next premium is due? Give them a call today for your personal agreed value quote. Call 866-AC1-YEAH. That's 866-224-9324. Tell them you're a friend of mine, Mark Green at Cars Yeah. American Collectors Insurance, classic car insurance designed by collectors for collectors, automotive enthusiasts just like you and me. That's American Collectors Insurance. All right, Zach, so let's dive into the corner a little deeper here, and I want you to share more about your current role at Clasiq, what Clasiq is all about, what you guys are doing, what makes you so different. So, Zach, grab the wheel.
Yeah, awesome. So I would say, first of all, as you kind of touched on a minute ago, we started out as just an online platform and an online community where folks can come and share photos of their cars and share learnings and that kind of thing. And it slowly grew organically into where it is now, where essentially we kind of looked at each other and said, hey, there's 850,000 members. Let's kind of see how we can contribute to this community. So we sent out some basic surveys, and the overwhelming response was, I'd love to have help selling my car. And so, I think from there we started building out from the idea of, okay, what is the true need here, and what do people want in helping them sell their car? And I think the biggest thing is the personal touch, where, it's not just you're listing something online and have no support and no face to the company. And then also, is the car actually in the shape that the photos show? So that's a huge hurdle when it comes to selling anything online, let alone a classic car, right? So it's we're dealing with 30, 40, 50, 60, 70-year-old cars. And so trying our best to navigate how to be transparent in that space by providing an inspection report on every single car that we list, and also holding the hand of both buyer and seller through the process and making sure that from listing the car to post-auction logistics in terms of, wire transfers, shipping the car, all of that is a really smooth transaction.
Cool.
Yeah, that's kind of our aim.
What Clasiq's all about. Buying things online, if I go back to online purchase experience for me, goes all the way back to the early days of eBay, buying and selling stuff. I bought some things on eBay, bought a motorcycle, a really nice motorcycle, an MV Agusta F4 off eBay. And I was really nervous at the time, like, is this going to be? And I communicated back and forth with the seller. Everything seemed to be cool. And I got very fortunate, and it showed up and was like, wow, this is as nice as I thought. I was actually quite surprised. I thought for sure something wasn't going to be right. But we all hear those horror stories of getting things and you go, I have friends that have done this, and you look at the car and go, is that the same car you showed me pictures of? It doesn't even look like the same color. And but I think today, because of companies like yours and others that are doing this, and because the world has opened up with communications, it's become, thankfully, harder and harder for people to trick people, I believe, and especially if they're going to a venue like yours, because last thing you want is people to start talking about you as not being transparent, as they say. So I think it's improved. Have you seen that over the short period of time you guys have been in business when you look at the overall online sales of cars, old cars specifically?
Yeah, so, I think one thing just in regards to the online space is it's a unique time to launch a business, right? With COVID happening and everything that has come with that, I think that people are a lot more open and have kind of been forced to become open with the online space. Mm-hmm. And so that, it's kind of a unique time to launch a model like this. And, I think that it's kind of a wide spectrum. Yes, things have improved and people are more receptive to buying things online, but I think there's still a ton of skeptics out there. And so that's kind of the hole we're trying to plug here. And even, you do hear those horror stories of shipping a car across the country and then the wire transfer never comes in or the cashier's check bounces. So our aim is really to make it foolproof and provide that security that you would have going to, an in-person auction.
Absolutely. Well, it's so important. It's been such a challenge, I think, with COVID, as you say, people having to sit home and not go anywhere. But I think there's been some silver linings here. I've heard from interviewing as many people as I interview that people have been forced to change not only their selling habits, but their buying habits. And that's opened up people, just for instance, working from home. Now businesses are realizing maybe I don't need all this office space. My workers seem to like it. They're doing their work. I can see they're doing their work. If anything, I think workers at home now are probably working more hours than they were when they go to an office and they see a clock and go, oh, I can go home now. I can get off. No, when you get home, you're already home. The phone still rings and it's just the way it is. But I think it's been helpful. Yeah. And I've seen some of my friends, I'm in an older demographic that have bought brand new cars online, and it's been completely seamless, easy. In fact, better than having to go in and deal with the dealer and that old back and forth on pricing and all that.
Right.
It's a lot easier over the phone to go, see you, bye, and hang up than the guy dragging your shirt out to the car. Please don't leave before you buy the car. So, I think it's improved. And I think it's improving. And more companies like yours are coming online that are creating opportunities for us to have other options, not only as sellers and buyers. I think it's pretty darn cool. When you think of your life and your career, sounds like it's been mostly around the automotive sector. Who's been a key part of helping you become successful, that mentor, that guiding light in your life?
Yeah, so it Shift, my time there was spent with some awesome leaders, Minnie Ingersoll being one of them, and a couple other folks, who started at Google and then launched that company. And I worked right under a man named Cole Dixon, and he was just tremendous in developing my leadership skills and just kind of entrepreneurial minded and thinking outside the box and getting things done. I'd honestly say my number one influence in the business world is my mom. She's a real estate rock star and
cool.
Like top 50 in RE/MAX across the country out of 60,000 some odd agents.
Holy cow, she is a rock star, man. That's awesome.
She's and so I worked with her before jumping into the automotive space, and she really instilled how to build a business off of referrals and how to ethically sell a house while making it happen at the same time, and all the logistics and details that go into that. So I would say I've definitely carried a lot of that into what I'm doing now at Clasiq and, what I hope to do in the future. So,
well, it's cool to hear. Moms are great. I'm fortunate to still have my mom. She's awesome. She taught me so many wonderful things growing up that I've carried forward today. And lots of times I do something and I go, oh yeah, that's where I learned that. That's kind of cool. And I'm a lot older than you, so I have to think back a lot of years to when I was a kid. But, still communicate with her every day and talk and so forth. Wish we lived a little closer together, but that's okay. When I want to, it gets me down to San Diego and Southern California. I can get out in the ocean a little bit and visit mom, so that's pretty cool.
That's not a bad excuse.
No, not a bad excuse at all. It's a good reason. My sister lives down there too, so that's pretty cool. It's a little north of you. They're up in Laguna Niguel and Laguna Beach area, but still beautiful. Let me ask you this. If you were to advise a young person who wants to get into a career path like you've had, how would you advise them?
Yeah, a couple things come to mind. One is I would say, don't be afraid of hard work and don't be afraid of small beginnings. I think people want loyal, hardworking, and they want to promote from within, generally speaking, I would say. So if you see a company that you are attracted to or some specific space in the automotive industry, I would say jump in at the most entry level. Don't be afraid to wash dishes per se, and prove yourself in the small things. And I think that can go a long way and rise to the ranks per se if you're loyal, dedicated, and show that hard work in the small things.
It's an important piece of advice, and it's a nice golden nugget you dropped for especially young listeners out there, is you're going to have to start somewhere. You're not going to become the rock star that Zach's mom is overnight. She built that business up over a long period of time with a lot of hard work. I know a lot of people in the real estate world, they work all the time. It's very difficult, but it's very rewarding because you're providing dreams for people, just like you are providing dreams for car people to have cars. But I like that advice because nowadays online, we see all these people that look like instant overnight successes, especially in the coaching world. And, look at my fancy car, look at my house. You're going, look, you can't be 22 and have all that, in 1 month coaching people. There's something going on. Either maybe you're fortunate to be born into a trust fund and you got money to start with. And that's one thing I think a lot of young people have to realize. It takes time and you do have to start somewhere low on the totem pole. But you know what? If you work hard, like Zack said, you'll get there because employers, they see that. I ran a business where we had at one point over 100 employees. And I could pick out the number of people that really, really worked hard, and I wanted to promote them as much as I could. And others kind of clicked the clock, and it would frustrate me, but my wife would say, look, you still need worker bees. If that's what they want to do, that's okay, as long as they're getting their work done. But the people that want to move up and advance and do more for you, you know what? They always raise their hand. They're the ones that are always there going, I'll be in tomorrow early, or I'll come in and work the weekend, or how can I help you with that project? I don't know what I'm doing, but can you show me and I'll do it for you? So yeah, it's a great piece of advice. And it's something that you don't hear very often, unfortunately, because everybody wants to be an overnight success, but that doesn't exist. Yeah. So I appreciate you sharing that. Let's take a short break, and I'm going to come back with a bit of a challenge question for you, kind of like that ominous big set rolling in on the horizon. Can I make it over the first three to the final wave in that set without getting crunched? So we'll be right back. Sit tight. I've discovered Linkage. It's a new quarterly publication and website that covers the automotive market, driving, restoring, collecting, and discovering your passion for motor vehicles. Linkage is about experiences, opinions, and values. Linkage is an actual informed, reasoned opinion based on first-hand experiences. A talented Linkage team covers the automotive world, the people who share your passion and mine, smart, considered, rational, and experienced opinions, ones you can learn from and grow. That includes our passion that drives auctions and the collector car market. So come with me and join us on this journey. Join Linkage. Linkage, geared for the automotive life. Subscribe today at linkagemag.com. Did you know that Cars Yeah is in the top 1% of all podcasts based on listenership according to Libsyn, the premier RSS feed for podcasts in the United States? That's right. And Cars Yeah is the only 5-day-a-week automotive-focused podcast for you to get your message into the ears of thousands of listeners daily from all over the world. Plus, DuPont Registry recommended Cars Yeah is one of their top 10 car podcasts for you to enjoy. Cars Yeah has experienced tremendous growth, plus your ads are evergreen, meaning they never go away. And more listeners find Cars Yeah every day for their daily dose of automotive inspiration. Do you want to expose your brand to a highly targeted list of automotive enthusiasts in a very unique and very personal way? Well, I can help you. Contact me, Mark Green, at mark@carsyeah.com or through the website at carsyeah.com today to learn more. Okay, we made it over that last wave. We're safe and sound. I'd love for you to share with me, Zack, something in your career, your life that's been a big obstacle, big challenge, big failure. Doesn't really matter what that is, although walk us through it, but it's more important about what it taught you so you can move forward in a positive way. So tell us how that experience helped you gain even more momentum as you move forward in your career, in your business, in your life.
Yeah, first one that comes to mind actually is recent with Clasiq. We obviously, as we were building out the site and trying to figure out how we're going to provide inspection reports on every single car. The issue is at a traditional dealership, the cars are coming in to the physical location, you can hire a mechanic, et cetera. And so we had to think through how can we provide inspection reports that we can, one, trust, and two, can be presentable and offer the value that we want to provide for our buyers across the country. And so in the beginning days, we were starting to think through, okay, well, let's just Yelp in specific areas and find the best mechanic and see if they'll go to the customer. Because the other thing is we want the seller to do the least amount of work. So we don't want the seller driving his Clasiq car around town looking for mechanics, right? We want to be able to provide the service for them. So it was honestly a very big
challenge, no doubt.
We had, yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
trying to figure out how do you do that?
Yeah, we're like, okay, well, here we are. We're saying that we're going to be providing this inspection report to all of our customers. How are we going to do this, and how are we going to feel good about them with hundreds of different mechanics across the country? So And how is this scalable? How are we going to spend to find a good shop? You might have to call 20 different places and then go back and forth with the seller on availability, et cetera. So we started doing research and trying to find some way to fill that gap. And so we've ended up partnering with a company called Car Doctor. And essentially what they've done is they've built out an app where the flow works essentially on an iPad. And they have built out a network of inspectors and mechanics across the country to essentially, it's almost like the, Uber model, where they're already mechanics or techs or inspectors that want to earn a little extra change. So they tell them when they're available and where they are, and then they work through that app flow. But the nice thing is that all of the reports have the same flow. They take photos if they see rust or oil leaks, things like that. So instead of us getting a checklist scanned over that says good, bad, poor, it's not very intuitive and doesn't give you a ton of information. We were able to fill that gap with them. So that's been a huge help in helping us move forward and stick to our word of wanting to, be able to provide a good inspection report across the board.
That's very cool, because that's the most important thing to people, obviously, is they're getting what they think they're getting. And sometimes sellers, not all the time, but sometimes they can be a little bit evasive. Maybe they left something out or, maybe they're just being deceitful, but let's hope for the best that people have good intentions. But sometimes, they don't want to dive real deep into the real problems with the car, or they might not even know about them. That's the thing I've discovered when I bought lots of used cars. When I've taken it for a pre-purchase inspection, the owners several times have said, I had no idea. I believe them. Okay. How would you know that? How would you even see that? I had one car where the inside of a tire had a big bulge, like a knob sticking out of it. And I would have never seen that in my car unless I crawled under the car, pulled the wheels off. And, if that thing had blown during a hard cornering session in that Porsche, could have been disastrous. So, and I like the idea of a flow too. It's much more than just, when you say rust on the car, yes. What does that mean?
Right, exactly.
Can you see through the floorboards? So, and the scalability too. Do you think about how big this country is? Holy cow. And now you've got a way to expand it beyond the borders too, which is cool. I would assume, Zack, that you've got a bucket list in your life, and maybe there's some more things you want to accomplish. You're still a young guy from the side of the fence I stand on. Is there some bigger, as they say in the Good to Great, Colin's book, is there a big, hairy, audacious bucket list goal for you out there somewhere?
Oh, man. I definitely have, the entrepreneurial mindset and always have as a kid. Whether that's starting a trash can service, bringing in and out trash cans for my neighbors, or dog
trash
sitting,
can service. I love it. That's awesome.
So always thinking in that way. So I love the idea of being a part of the community and giving back in that sense. So I think a pipe dream of mine would be somehow having a brick and mortar within my community where I can, give back in some way. And that's kind of vague, but whether that's a shop where, people can just come in and talk shop and work on their cars, or coffee shop with communal office space up top. I would love to have something like that one day. And
Well, see, your mom can help you with the real estate acquisition there. She knows how to do
that.
There
we go.
Yeah, so you've got that one challenge solved. But I tell you something, Zack, you hit on something that's really important. My regular listeners have heard this over and over, but I keep pounding it into everyone's brain. And that is what I've learned after interviewing 1,700 and now 94 people. And that is the secret to happiness, the secret to a happy life. And here it is, giving back to others. It's really simple. Most people don't figure it out very soon in life. Some people are fortunate too, but we are truly happiest when we're giving back to others. So you figured it out at a pretty young age. And I think that's great. So you keep working on that pipe dream, as you call it. I love it, since we're kind of got a surf vibe going today. And Pipeline, not a place I could ever surf at, but I've been there and got to see it. But I never had that skill set when I was out on the waves. Scary place, but very, very powerful. Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah, that'll humble you.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, sometimes like a big day of blacks. That place humbled me a few times.
Oh my
down
goodness.
There. Yeah.
Yes.
So I think that's the only time surfing I ever thought I seriously was going to drown. I was held down so long on one wave that I really thought, this is it. And I think the lesson there was I didn't give up, but I just relaxed instead of trying to fight it. And that finally brought me to the surface and I got a breath. And then the next wave pounded the crap out of me. So I still remember about that. That was a scary day as I crawled up on the beach and went, man, I survived. That's kind of cool. So tell me about a really special vehicle in your life, something that really has stood out that you've owned. Could be a car you have now, could be your first car. It doesn't really matter. But tell us what it is or what it was and share a great memory you have about that ride.
Yeah. So I, grew up restoring cars with my dad and cousin, just for the love of classic cars. And the funnest memory I have of that is my dad got a call from his friend who knew, we were kind of in that space and loved cars. And he goes, hey, I'm selling, he was in real estate as well. He said, hey, I'm selling this house, closing escrow tomorrow, and there's this old Camaro in the garage, and we need to get it out of here. You and Zach should come by and take a look. So he didn't tell us the year, nothing. He just said this old Camaro needs to go. And we get into the garage, and it's on block with a car cover over it. We lift up the back left corner, and just by the taillights, our hearts drop. We're like, this isn't an old Camaro. This is a 69 Camaro. And not only that, but we're looking at it more and more. We're like, I think this is an RSSS. This looks like an original, untouched car. And so anyways, we ended up buying it from the owner. And, the cool thing is he passed on all the original paperwork, and we had, we're able to have the original window sticker.
Wow. And
it was just this piece of history, preserved in this garage. It was just so special. So me, my dad, and uncle slowly brought it back to life and got it running again. And oh my gosh, it's really special car.
What color was it?
The Le Mans. This is a very unique kind of combo. And the funny thing is it's all from the dealer. Like the original owner bought it this way. So it was Le Mans blue that had the Landau top.
Oh, okay.
So it originally was a 4-speed manual, but he ended up putting a ratchet shifter in it, 3-speed. But yeah, just beautiful.
Nice. Well, yeah, that's a bit of a holy grail car, I guess, when you think about Camaros and eras and so forth. So to have I remember that car, you could get them, they had like stripes on the hood, or they had a rally stripe that kind of came up the front fender and then down the side, if I remember right, the looks of those.
Yeah, they call it like the hockey stick.
Yeah.
Hockey stick stripes. Yeah, it was that one.
Oh, cool. Well, man, what a score. And that's a bit of a unique color too. A little softer color, not as bright as some of those that came in the bright orange or yellows and so forth. So
yeah, like the Hugger orange or yeah.
Very
I
cool.
agree, yeah.
Awesome.
Beautiful.
Okay, well, listen, I'm going to get into your head a little bit here since we're thinking Camaros, cars here. If you woke up tomorrow, Zach, and you were a vehicle, you'd actually manifest as a vehicle. This isn't what you want to be, because we all want to be something cool and fast, right? But maybe we're not. You could be. Depends on how you view yourself. What would you be, and more importantly, why?
I think if I were to wake up as a car tomorrow, I do love all things class. I am an old soul, as I said. I'm reading Western books written in the 50s, and all my surfboards are older than me.
Cool.
I think I'd be a mid-60s Econoline, Ford Econoline, just one of those old school vans with all the windows, and you can throw your camping gear in there, throw all your friends in there, and I'm definitely community minded. So
yeah, well, that's a great vehicle for going to the beach too. I had a friend growing up, Bobby. He and I rode motorcycles, off-road bikes all the time, and surfed together and grew up together. And I actually drove up with him when I was a kid. Well, we weren't kids. We were 16, I believe, up to LA, and he bought an old Porsche, and we trailered it back behind his 1965 Ford Econoline.
No way.
He called it the Green Weenie. It was this terrible green color. We used to pile the motorcycles in the back and go riding out by Miramar Naval Air Station before there was houses out there and stuff. And this thing was terrible. I mean, it was just a rattle trap. And of course, you think about those Fords, it's like a Volkswagen. You're right on the front. If you ever hit anything, you're dead. Your legs are crushed. Yeah, but the Green Weenie, wow, you brought back some memories for me there.
I can't imagine that thing has any towing power.
It didn't. So we went very slow.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got it home, and he restored that car, and he actually ended up driving it off to go to flight school. He became a fighter pilot. Drove it across the country, his little Porsche Targa.
Wow.
Yeah, 68 Targa, I believe it was.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but he is a very talented guy. I shouldn't say he's not past, but he's a retired guy now, but lives down your way, just north of you a little bit. Very cool. Mid-60s Econoline van. I love it. Brought back some memories for me today. Thanks. Put a smile on my face. You talked about earlier about giving back. So are there some ways today that you're giving back, helping others, a mentor maybe to somebody or anybody in the automotive sector?
I'd say just on a small level, I do have a very large network down here in North County, San Diego. And so, yeah, when it comes to just my immediate friend group and neighbors and that type of thing, I'm always getting a question on, hey, is this a good deal? Or I'm looking at this car, would this be a good fit for what I'm doing? Or am I paying too much for this? Or this dealer's trying to, so kind of always happy to help in that way and kind of am known as being that person that is known in that space. And, there's some really cool organizations out there that we've talked about wanting to get involved with. You got, I don't know if you've heard of Lost Angels Children's Project out in Lancaster.
Tell me about it.
Yeah, they're doing some really cool things. They've started a program where they bring in at-risk youth kids in the city and bring them into the shop, and they restore a car together and, everything that comes with that.
Nice.
Learning how to take something apart and, just showing that, you've got what it takes to get after it. So we definitely have a wish list, and it's on our roadmap to, reach out to folks like them and partner with them. There's so many people out there already doing amazing things. And, we definitely want to be more than just a place where people are buying and selling cars. As you mentioned in the beginning, we've put out content and videos and different series following people in their cars. And so, we want to be a place where we're connected in that way with a network of people giving back.
Very cool. I love that, especially helping kids, giving them some insight that there is a path for them and a career path for them. It's something fun that they can enjoy to work around cars like you and I do. I think that's fantastic. My charity of choice here is Tech Force. They help young people get into the trade. So,
very cool.
Yeah, let me throw a little ad spot in here. When we come back, I'm going to talk about or ask you about a book and then the ultimate drive. So sit tight. Here's a little word from my charity of choice, Tech Force. Today's vehicles are essentially computers on wheels, and it takes more than a wrench and oil to keep them humming. That's why Cars Yeah supports Tech Force Foundation, a nonprofit dedicated to driving tomorrow's workforce of skilled technicians forward. Techs keep our cars, trucks, airplanes, and fleets rolling. Yet there's a massive tech shortage because many young people don't know it's no longer a blue-collar job. Today, it's a new-collar career. It involves computers, technology. It's in high demand. You get paid really well, and you can live and work anywhere in the country. I know you're passionate about cars, trucks, and motorcycles, and you can help pass that passion on to the next generation of techs so our rides keep rolling down the road. Visit techforce.org today and learn how. Hey, fellow inspiring automotive enthusiasts, did you know if you subscribe at carsyeah.com, I'll send you my free Filler Up book? It's an ebook filled with fuel, filler fun, and inspirational quotes from past guests here on Cars Yeah. Plus, you'll get a weekly wrap-up email from me every Friday, and your name will be in the hat for one of the many free giveaways here at Cars Yeah. Simply go to carsyeah.com and click on the free book button, and boom, you're in the club. And don't forget to subscribe to Cars Yeah on your mobile podcast app, and you'll get the Cars Yeah show delivered right to your mobile device every day, absolutely free. Inspiring automotive enthusiasts, that's what we're all about here at Cars Yeah. Thanks for listening. All right, Zach, we're back. Now, is there a book that you'd like to share? You mentioned you found this passion for old Western books. Is there maybe one or two titles that you found that you really enjoyed?
Well, yeah. So you got To Tame a Land is one. This is so funny. If anyone actually, I'm sure there's guys out there that are maybe closer in your age range that are going, oh, yeah, I remember that.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Who's the author of that?
Louis L'Amour.
Okay, yeah.
In terms of business books and inspiration and that side of things, I'm a big Malcolm Gladwell fan.
Oh, yeah.
Outliers, The Tipping Point. I love his perspective on things of just tackling, I feel like the overarching theme of a lot of his books are just look at life and look at complex problems differently and solve them in creative ways. So he's definitely inspired me in in my career throughout the years.
Yep, absolutely. Love his books, love reading his books. I'll make sure I put links to those on Zach's show notes page, along with a little escapism, Louis L'Amour's book, To Tame a Land. I love that. Very, very cool aspect of you. So now I've got a magic wand today, Zach.
Okay.
And I'm going to let you go on the ultimate ride or drive. So here's the deal. You can pick the car you want to be in, the person, could be somebody living or someone who's passed. Who would be driving the vehicle and what would you be talking about? Let's start with the who.
Yeah, so I think I would choose Magnus Walker here or in LA. Really cool guy.
The urban
Has an
outlaw.
Amazing collection of yeah, you know it. Yeah. Man, I would love to be in, an air-cooled 911 turbo through Malibu and just to pick his brain. He seems just like I've been following him for years and he seems like a really down-to-earth, cool guy, and it'd be fun to just pick his brain on his life and where he is now. So. Well,
I'll tell you, you go back. He's been a guest on, now you guys are Cars Yeah alumni brothers. He's been on the show twice now, and I met him years ago at a Porsche Works event during Car Week. And I always call him my brother from another mother because he's like the antithesis of what people think of Porsche drivers as being, right? I mean, he's like the opposite of the stereotype Porsche driver.
And I think that's what I'm attracted to about him as well. Yeah,
I think a lot of people.
He doesn't fit a mold.
No, definitely not. And he's starting to now kind of branch out beyond Porsches into other cars, which is really cool. So he's kind of a reinventor of his own marketing sense. He's a master at that. And the fact that even Porsche had him as somewhat of a spokesperson is kind of not, I don't mean this in a bad way, Magnus, hilarious. Because again, he doesn't fit who would be buying a Porsche these days, but maybe he does.
Right.
Maybe those stereotypes aren't always correct, which I'm pretty sure they're not. So very cool. A drive with Magnus in a Porsche Turbo. I like it. Well, I'd love for you, before I let you go and drive off into the Malibu hillsides with Magnus and a Porsche Turbo, maybe offer us a parting word of wisdom or guidance for someone listening out there. Maybe a mantra, a success quote. What would that be?
Two things that I want to always do in business and that I think are two great tips for anyone listening is, one is put aside specific dedicated blocks each week to work on the business, not just in the business. It's easy to get carried away with the day-to-day operations, which of course are so important, but to zoom out and think about, okay, to work actually on the business and to, make sure that you aren't mixing the big picture. And then the second would be something my brother passed on to me that the SEALs always operate out of, which I just admire so much, is prioritize and execute. And that's taken me so far. It's just so simple and straightforward. Put a list together and which ones are most important, whether or not you want to do them most. but being honest with yourself and saying, okay, which of these are most important, and then just execute down the line.
Oh gosh, yeah. When talking about the Navy SEALs, when I was a kid, we had a family friend who was an admiral in the Navy, and I remember he took me over to Coronado Island, and we got to watch the SEALs work out for a little bit one day. And as a little kid, I think I was 9 years old or something. Of course, these guys were like monsters, just in awe of what they were doing. I just like, holy cow, these guys are serious. I mean, what a proud group of people. Thank goodness they're there to do what they have to do, but prioritize and execute. But that other thing you mentioned is incredibly important. And I used to use this analogy. So many of us are down rowing the boat all day long as hard as we can, and we don't take the time to get up in the crow's nest and look out on the horizon and stop rowing and really think about where are we going. And sometimes if you're just rowing, you end up going in a big circle because you're rowing too hard on one side or the other side. So that's a really value bomb, golden nugget you dropped for us there. I appreciate you doing that. What's the best way for people to learn more about Clasiq? And I will spell it again. It's Clasiq. How do we learn more about Clasiq?
So I would say, first of all, visit our site, just clasiq.com, Clasiq.com. And then we're big on Facebook, all the social medias. You can find us there as well.
Awesome. I'll make sure I put links to all of these for Clasiq.com. If you're in the market to buy or sell a car, you need to check this site out. It's very cool. Love what you guys are doing. Different touch, different approach to things, which is refreshing. And I also want to do a shout out here to your CEO, David. Now I'm going to butcher his name. Zeisblatt? Am I saying that right?
Yeah.
Okay, I did it right. There you go, David. Shout out to him for connecting me with Zach today. Thank you very much for that, David. Zach, hey, thanks for being so generous today with your time and expertise and for sharing your experiences with the listeners. Until you and I talk again, Let's see, I usually say I'll see you down the road, but maybe I'll say I'll see you out in the surf. How's that sound?
Hey, I love it.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks, buddy.
Thanks, Mark.
Thank you so much for joining us on today's ride here at Cars Yeah. Drive on over to carsyeah.com to find show notes and inspiring automotive fun. Download your free copy of Filler Up, a fun book filled with gorgeous photographs of fuel filler fun, including quotes from more inspiring automotive enthusiasts. Download your copy today, and we'll see you next time on Cars Yeah.